Okay, well, I guess you can see I've got a crack here. Goes all the way from the bottom to the transition ring. Well, it's a pretty simple fix. I'll use CA in there, and I'll use probably some walnut shavings in there also, ingrained walnut shavings. Let's see, I'll stand there right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a drop in here. Just run that entire crack. Get the CA adhered to that. Then I'll come back with some walnut shavings, ingrained walnut shavings, which I keep on hand. I'll crush them up good. Then I'll start packing them in there and get them crushed up really well. And crushed down into real fine dust. And I'm just going to start cramming it in. Rub it in really good across the crack. That way it'll just fall in there. Of course, you end up getting CA on your fingers. Doesn't really matter. Alright. Now, that ought to be just a dang good repair. Right. Now, let me get just re-pour this. Probably gonna have a hard time getting this thing off my chuck now too. That's alright. It happens. It'll come off. Alright, well, I'm gonna let that cure up for just a minute and I'll be back when that's cured up. I've got a few little tool marks and stuff right in here. Before I start my sanding and taking this tenon all off, I'm going to take care of that. And put my safety glasses first. I didn't catch that to begin with. See if I can move this light around. Maybe I can see it a little better. Okay. Alright. I'm going to use my bowl gouge. Just kind of scraping that. See how it does. Very light scraping. See what we got. Alright, that is much better. I'm ready to sand this now. Alright. Okay. I'm going to get ready to take this tenon off. And I'll get my steady rest up and get it mounted. And I'll be back once I get that done. Okay, I may be messing up. But I'm going to try to take that off of my hacksaw. Keep around to do too much digging on that steady rest. We're going to give this a try. Just cutting through the glue joint. nice and easy. It's not very deep, and I've just barely got tension on the tailstock. Just barely. So the tailstock's not actually pressing. Well done. Well done. That worked out just great. Now, let me put my saw back up, and I'll get ready to start finishing out this very inside right here. I've actually got it waxed all the way to right there, but I'll clean out all this curve on the inside. Oh yeah, by the way, you may have noticed I got new wheels on my steady rest. My buddy Roy Hansen sent me these after my last vase that I did, and I had my wooden wheels on here with rubber O-rings on it, and one of the O-rings came off, and he I guess he felt sorry for me or something, so he sent me a brand well, I'm gonna say brand new set of these polyurethane wheels, and I love them. They're soft touch, which is actually what I was worried about. I was worried that these wheels would be marring everything up. It makes a very small mark right there, but I haven't sanded yet, and once I come back through and sand it, all that'll be gone. And I really like these wheels. Thank you very much, Roy. I really appreciate that. Okay, so steady rest runs good now. It doesn't make anything like the noise that the other wheels did. So anyway, I'm going to get busy taking this out, and I'll be right back. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to do this with the camera sitting right there, but it is actually right in the way. But we're going to give it a try anyhow. I'm just going to use my bowl gouge. I'm going to move that back out of the way. And we're just going to take very nice, easy strokes. Very easy. Check that. I didn't like the sound of something in there. Okay, alright, we're good. We're good. Thought I might have broke something in there. Oh yes, very nice. Got one little ridge right there. Very, very nice. Very nice. Okay, excellent. All right, now I can start my sanding. I've already finished it up to about an inch or so below the mahogany. I'm going to use my regular finish on that, which on this piece is going to be the OB Shine Juice. I'm gonna try that. I've used it before with very good success, and maybe I can get it with this one again. All right, so I'll be back in just a minute. I'll get my steady rest out of here, and we'll start trying to get this thing sanded and finished. All right, it's getting ready to start sanding, and I'll just power sand up through with 80 grit to begin with, just to get this this rough CA and stuff done, and we'll start out power sanding. I love that air. Or with my OB Shine Juice. Probably around 320 or so, I'll put 2 coats of lacquer on here just to seal everything up, harden the surface good, something I can really sand down nice. And then I'll go to my OB Shine Juice. I'm going to 100 grit now. That thing's just pulling all this dust out of here. I love it. Then I'll go back and I'll start just sanding with the grain. Make sure I take out my sanding marks, because there are no tool marks left. All I need to do now is get my sanding marks out that are left from the 80 grit and the 100 grit. So we'll just go with the grain, taking those out. And there's not a whole lot, just microscopic little scratches. But if you don't get those out, as soon as you put a finish on here, it will stand out like a sore thumb. You really will be dissatisfied with what you get if you do not do your surface prep well. So make sure you get all the scratches out. The scratches are going this way because I was just running the lathe with the sandpaper. Now we're going back with the grain to knock those out. Then we'll come back with the 220 and it'll leave scratches. You have to take them out with the grain. Same thing. But it's not hard to do if you'll allow your 80 grit or your heavy grit to do all the work for you. Then this will actually be easy. You're just kind of rubbing it out, and it looks really nice. Okay, no more scratches. So I'll move on to the top section. I'll do the same thing, and then I'll move to the inside and I'll do the same thing in there. And I'll go through all the grits. I'll go 100, I'll go 220, I'll go 320, then I'll put a couple coats of lacquer on there. Once they cure up, I'll go back 320 again, 400 and 600, and then I'm gonna use my OB Shine Juice to finish this thing out. Okay, all right, I'm just getting ready. I've got it sanded to 320. I'm getting ready to spray a coat of lacquer. It's just satin lacquer, and all I'm doing is just sealing up the surface and getting it ready for my OB Shine Juice. I've got it sanded to 320, and I wiped it down with lacquer thinner just to, you know, make sure, you know, the surface was clean. So anyway, all I'm going to do is just spray it on. This is covered, my lathe bed's covered, and I've got my my shop vac or dust collector protecting my tools. Any overspray that goes even in that direction will get sucked in to there. So I should be good to go. All right, here we go. I'm not worried too much about, I just want to get some thin coats on it. Just something to start sealing this surface a little bit. All right, that looks good. All right, and so does that. And I'll do 2 coats of that, and now I think that ought to be good enough just to seal up the surface good. And then I'll be back so I get ready to start putting on my OB Shine Juice. That's kind of hard to say fast. All right, I'll be right back. All right, well, OB Shine Juice, according to Captain Eddie, is a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 mixture of clear shellac, boiled linseed oil, and denatured alcohol. So you're going to need those 3 ingredients if you want to make it. You'll need some type of bottle. I got that, I think, at Hobby Lobby, and I generally use a cup or something to try to get these about the same. I'll start with and I usually only make up enough for a project, but I always end up throwing some away anyhow. But I'll start out with my shellac. I'll just get me some. I'll just pour some in there. And I'll mark the cup where it's at. This is right there. Okay, I'll pour that in my bottle. And then I'll move to the boiled linseed oil, and I'll just fill it up in the same cup to that line. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, filled up to the line. Close that up, pour it in. Now I've always had good luck with this, but you have to keep the denatured alcohol it's kind of hard because this stuff will evaporate out of just about anything you put it in. So once you use it, I mean, that batch is just about no good. Okay, now the denatured alcohol's to that line. Pour it in. Alright, now I have my friction polish mixture. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Okay, now I'll shake it up, and it's ready to use. I've got my piece. It's now sanded up to 600 grit, and it is ready for the OB Shine Juice. It's got two coats of lacquer on it to seal it. Now we're going to see how this works. You just apply it with paper towels, which I happen to have right here. And your surface should already be ready for it. It's nice and smooth. I mean, it's really smooth. And I'm going to see how it works. I'm going to apply this with the blade running. Spin it up a little bit. Start wiping over it. It's a friction polish. So it needs friction. And it'll cure very rapidly. Now look at that. Wow. Look at that finish already. And that's one coat, and that's cured, already cured. Okay, so it's ready. It's ready for the next coat. I'm just going to flip my paper towel and get ready for the next coat. I'm applying pressure to generate a little bit of heat. I mean, not too much, but you know, you want a little bit of heat. Change the paper towel. I'm going to go one more coat, and then I may call that good. That's all cured up. I mean, it's completely cured up. Just put a little bit on the rag or on my paper towel. Keep the rubbing. Get a load of that. Now that is a finish. I love this finish. It just, and it'll look like that, you know, 3 or 4 days from now when it's absolutely completely cured. I just want to give you a good look at it right here. That is one of the best finishes that I know of for a vase. And you watch me do it in real time. I think I put 4 coats on, and that's how long it took, and this is what I got. I love it. Okay, now I got to get this thing in my vase mount and get that tenon off the bottom. I'll be right back. All right then, let's try to get on with it. Okay. Very, very gently. I'm just barely touching this wood. The last thing I want to do is throw this thing out of here now. Just nibble away. I'm going to use the bevel and skew. Just ride right on in here. I need my other glasses. I'm just going to cut that tenon off. And all I'm really doing is just making a V-cut. Nibbling a little bit at a time. All right, it's just about as small as I dare go. Alright, yet another one has survived the vase mount. It was one of the lucky ones. And I have thrown a couple out of here. Now, all I have left is that little nub right there. And I'll take that off, I'll take it over there and I'll cut it off with a coping saw. And then I'll use my power sander to sand that up and get that nice and smooth. Alright, I'll be back once I get the bottom sanded, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Well, alright. Here we are at the end of another project. I really enjoyed. Lots of things going on in this. Segmented mahogany rings. It's a 10-inch vase made of pecan, spalted. It's a piece of wood that I had up on the hill up there for a couple of years, out in the weather. I did have the ends sealed, but the vase blank was just laying out in the weather. I used the OB shine juice on it, and I've just always loved that finish. It's a really good, easy to apply friction polish. It takes 3 ingredients to make it, but it's not very expensive, because I mean, Lord, by the time you use all those ingredients, there's no telling how much you would have done paid in regular friction polish. But I put 2 coats of lacquer first to seal up the wood, and then I went back and sanded all the way up through 600 grit. Once that was done, then I started putting on my OB shine juice, and this thing really turned out well, I think. When you put a glossy finish, you will be able to tell if your segmenting sled is not cutting good. These are all good and tight, but you see all the marks, or all the glue marks down through here, which is what I wanted, because as it turns. As that thing turns, each piece of wood throws light in a different way. So it really looks nice when you get things, your segmented pieces good and tight. Really enjoyed this project. Thank you, Roy, once again for my steady rest wheels. I really appreciate that. They were better than my wooden wheels, although I did use my wooden wheels for a lot of projects until I had the flat tire and blew it out. But anyway, there we go. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and maybe you got something out of it. I know I really enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all on down the road. Have a good day.